A second, DJ. Next, may I respectfully request this august sitting to please rise for us to take the national anthem. The national anthem. Let's please be seated. The Secretary to the State Government, Mrs. Sharifa Jaji, is represented here today. By Mrs. Tolani Oshudi. We thank you for the honor of your presence. The Head of Service, Mr. Akimori Okola, all courtesy duly extended, as well represented here today by the Captain himself, the Permanent Secretary of Public Service Office, Mr. Samson Ajibade, members of the State's Executive Council, as represented by their proxies, the Permanent Secretaries of each of the ministries, respected body of permanent secretaries here seated, MD, CEO, general managers of our respective MDAs, cutting across the entire service, Lagos State Public Service, our directors and heads of ministerial departments. We want to thank all of you as we speak for the honor to have you all seated. On behalf of the Director General, CEO of the Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation, OTCI, Mr. Toba Otusaya, we bid you all welcome to this auspicious occasion commemorating the Ideas Day, the maiden edition of its kind under the Lagos State Public Service. And it's with the theme, the public service from ideas to impact. And we are grateful that today, as we speak, it's a historic moment and a very momentous day that we are changing the narrative of having a changed mindset, possibly and impactfully implemented in the Lagos State Public Service, to which we want to thank the DG, OTCI and his team for the honor they've done, each one of us as ambassadors in our respective MDAs, to witness this occasion today. Let's please put our hands together for Mr. Governor, whose vision it is that the DG OTCI has been driving. It is on this note, without taking much time, I want to request, gentlemen of the press, the pleasure of the DG OTCI the DG OTCI, Mr. Toba Otusoya, to please give the story of the journey thus far. It was a humble beginning, and today we are giving God all the glory. Mr. Toba Otusoya, sir.
Please come with us.
The presentation document, please.
Good morning to the head of service. He's on his way. I'm sure that he will join us shortly. Good morning to the body of permanent secretaries, also heads of parastatal organizations, directors in the state public service, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I want to formally welcome you to the Public Service Ideas Day, the maiden edition, first of its kind in Nigeria. Thank you. This has been long coming because OTCI, in collaboration with all the MDAs, we've actually done a lot of work in the last 2.5 years or so. And all of it is actually coming together today. And I think it's a day that the public service should be proud of. Particularly all the participating MDAs and the officers that have taken part in all the various initiatives that we've put together in the last 2 years. So a round of applause for the Lagos State Public Service. Next slide, please. So for emphasis, OTCI's mandate can actually be broken into 5 distinct areas. Number 1, we act as a catalyst for change, and we collaborate with ministries, departments, and agencies, both at the state and at the federal level. Number 2, we provide advice and update on government change agenda from time to time. Number 3, provision of management. Can we go back? Provision of management support services to MDAs. So some of you may be familiar with some of the things that we do. Workflow review, business process review, mandate review, organizational restructuring, etc. Mandate 4, we provide an oversight function as far as service charter is concerned. And I think we are lucky to even have Mama Charter with us here this morning. Proudly OTCI. So number 5 is we coordinate creative and innovative ideas to improve service delivery across the entire public service. And it's because of mandate number 5 that all of us are here this morning. So the rest of the presentation will focus on mandate number 5. Next slide, please. So for us, the objective of creativity and innovation in the public service is to empower public servants to take ownership of ideas that could help solve problems, challenges in their MDAs. You know, when they say nobody has monopoly of wisdom, this is really to create an environment where officers can actually thrive. Next slide. So for us, in doing that, the focus is to try and create an enabling environment where officers can express ideas, and hopefully, if those ideas are accepted, they will end up improving service delivery in the Lagos State Public Service. Next slide. So in order for us to fulfill that number 5 mandate, OTCI came up with 2 distinct programs, 2 critical programs. The first one is the Growth Mindset Development Program. I'm sure a lot of people in this room are familiar with the growth mindset. And then the second initiative is the Creativity and Innovation Ambassadorship Initiative. Next slide. So on the one hand, if you're talking about growth mindset, our focus really is to ensure that public servants can actually keep up with the 21st century challenges. And we felt one of the best ways to do that is to change the orientation of an average public servant from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, thereby promoting the concept of thinking outside the box, trying to come up with solutions that could help in the workplace. So the success of that program allowed us to actually build a new program called the Creativity and Innovation Ambassadorship Program. And the focus of that, like I said earlier, is to empower public servants to be able to take ownership of ideas that can help solve problems in the Lagos State Public Service. Next slide. So let me just quickly take us through the parameters that we went through in delivering these two programs. The first one is the Growth Mindset Development Program. And the whole process started with OTCI with a brainstorming session where, as a team, we came together and were thinking, how can we create a situation where public servants are more engaged, they are more interested in what is happening in their respective MDAs? How can we do that? And then we discovered that the best way to do that is you need to change the way people think. And that's how we came up with the Growth Mindset Initiative. And because of that, we realized that we would need to work with some. So we engaged a team of consultants to actually help us work alongside us to develop a curriculum for that program. After we've done that, we decided to actually select a small team of public servants. And this small team of public servants, we took them through what we call Train the Trainer program. Okay? And at the end of that program, these officers were given the title of Senior Advocate on Growth Mindset. A small team of public servants. And OTCI, working alongside these officers, we carried out this program. Now, the SAGMs, because of the established initiative. Next slide, please. So, on the Creativity and Innovation Ambassadorship Program, we went through a similar exercise because the framework has been tried and tested. So we felt that that is the best way to actually implement such programs. So we carried out sensitization officers for validation and approval. Of course, OTCI played a significant role when we carry out monitoring and evaluation exercise to make sure that people are following due process and accounting officers are giving the right support. Now, the interesting thing is that as we were doing all of that, what we were actually doing is to create a workplace that can cope with 21st century challenges. Next slide, please. So this schematic diagram is really to show us how ideas are generated and managed at the MDA level. Some accounting officers are fully invested in this, so they will fully understand what I'm talking about. So at the MDA level, what usually happens with your Creativity and Innovation Committee, individuals in your MDA, they will complete a form listing one idea or the other. They will send it to the Creativity and Innovation Committee and all of that. And then the committee now decides, based on the guidelines that OTC has provided, whether those ideas are plausible ideas. So they will select among the many ideas that have been presented to them and then present the ones that they feel that are plausible to the accounting officer for validation. Of course, once those ideas have been approved by the accounting officer, OTCI also still has a role to play. We go back there for what we call pre-implementing support on how those MDAs could implement those ideas. While we were doing all of that, what we were also doing was to try and identify those ideas that we felt could have a statewide impact. So the impact goes beyond that particular MDA. The impact actually could be statewide impact. And those impacts, those ideas are very, very germane to the social economic development of the state. And as a matter of fact, as we identify and see what is actually possible if you put your mind to creativity and innovation. Next slide, please. So, people often ask me, OTCI, with all these various initiatives that you are running, have you had time to do an impact assessment? What is the impact of all this work that you are doing? Specifically on creativity and innovation, the qualitative impact of what we are doing is what you can see on the screen. This initiative has liberated public servants and given them a voice of their own. You know, civil servants now have a voice of their own. The program has also, the head of service is coming in. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me formally welcome our amiable head of service. You are welcome to this program. Sir, just before you came in, I was taking the audience through the journey that took us here today in terms of the various initiatives that OTCI have been working on. So with your permission, I'll just carry on with the presentation. Thank you, sir. So some of the qualitative impact of what these initiatives have done is that, especially through the growth mindset, there has been a paradigm shift. You know, people are moving away from, you know, this fixed mindset concept. They strongly believe that they have the opportunity to contribute and they can contribute. And that's what we're trying to encourage. And of course, accounting officers, not all accounting officers, I must admit, but accounting officers, those that are really invested in this process, they've discovered that there's a pool of talent within their MDAs that they have not been utilizing all this while. So it's an opportunity for them to tap into the pedigree of these individuals and use it to scale up their operations in their MDAs. Of course, several ideas have come out from this program, some of which are going to be showcased here this morning. Next slide. So the quantitative impact. Since the program started over 2 years ago, we've been able, well, not we, the public service in general have been able to come up with 252 ideas. I think that deserves a round of applause. These ideas are not OTCI ideas. They are not DG OTCI's idea or my own team. These are ideas coming from individual MDAs, you know, coming up with different scenarios on how they can improve their operations. Out of the 252 ideas, about 131 of those are just, you know, very simple ideas on how you can improve your operations. You know, they are important. They may not have a state impact, but they still improve efficiency in the workplace. And then 115 of those ideas are where the Creativity and Innovation Committee have actually adopted them as credible and plausible ideas, and they've presented them to the accounting officers for implementation. And of course, a total of 6 ideas were identified as those ideas that could have state impact. Those ideas actually go beyond impacting their immediate MDA, but more or less impacting the entire public service. Next slide. So, as a result of all that exercise, we have our finalists. And it's our finalists that we're going to be presenting to you this morning. Now, if you look at that table, we have an idea that is going to be showcased today by Ministry of Finance. They deserve a round of applause. We have 2 ideas for Ministry of Agriculture. We have 1 idea from Ministry of Health. We have 1 idea from Alimosho General Hospital. And we have 1 idea from Lagos State Accident and Emergency Center. Next slide. Now, remember I kept saying some accounting officers are heavily invested in this process. So part of our monitoring and evaluation, as we went around the various agencies that we're working with, we discovered some accounting officers that we would like to refer to as transformational leaders. These accounting officers have gone beyond the call of duty. And interesting thing about them is that they actually leverage on corporate social responsibility to try and transform their agencies. So they are not focusing on the fact that government is not providing adequate funding. Government will never have enough money. That's the truth. Because our needs they keep expanding by the day, and more and more and more on a daily basis. So they've leveraged on corporate social responsibility to transform their agencies. So we feel that they should also be recognized and rewarded today. So I hope that by the time we go through today's presentation, when we've had the opportunity to meet our 6 finalists, and they will have presented their various ideas, I sincerely hope that it would encourage and inspire, those of us that are here, and it would encourage officers to want to do more and achieve more to the benefit of Lagos State government. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your attention.
Please, can we give it to him one more time, please? And may I also request, if I'm not asking for too much, that we please give another resounding applause to the head of service, Mr. Akim Ori-Okola. We thank you, sir. Well, from the account of the DG Otci, birthed the manifestation and crystallization of today's event. And that is why we say that we must give kudos to the Lagos State government, the head of service under whose office the Otci is, to have brought this to bear in giving recognition and honor to officers in the Lagos State Public Service. It is my honor at this point to want to request the distinguished honor of the head of service to please speak. Please join me to welcome to the microphone Mr. Akim Ori-Okola, the head of service of the Lagos State.
Please be seated. The Secretary to the State Government, Mrs. Sharifat Folashade Jaji, ably represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Cabinet Office, Mrs. Tolani Oshodi. The members of the Lagos State Executive Council here present, Chairman of Statutory Commissions here present, the members of the body of permanent secretaries here present, Director General, Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation, Oba Otusanya, Directors Generals, General Managers, CEOs, Directors in various Lagos State agencies and parastatals here present, my dear colleagues from various MDAs, local government areas, LCDAs, school districts, hospitals, state government hospitals here present, distinguished presenters, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first start by apologizing for getting here after the presentation by Mr. Toba Tsusoya. It's my understanding that I was supposed to give the welcome address, and that is what I intend doing still. But I think it should have preceded Toba's presentation, but I was caught up in traffic. I do apologize again. It is my great delight to welcome you all to this epoch-making event, which promises to be a landmark in the fulfillment of the reform agenda of the Lagos State government. The event, titled the Ideas Days, is put together by the OTCI office. It's an initiative for us as public servants geared towards constructive engagement of officers from different MDAs, LGAs, LCDAs, school districts, and hospitals in a process that enables them to contribute their respective quotas in making Lagos a 21st century economy and a smart city. OTCI, through the Office of the Head of Service, continues to strengthen its reform agenda and reorientation strategy that laid a solid foundation for the tedious task of steering the state into a smart city. The Ideas Day is therefore a very welcome initiative by the office to further deepen achievement of the themes agenda of Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. The Creativity and Innovation Initiative, which commenced in 2018, considerable ground and popularity across the Lagos State Public Service. Clearly, this is evident in the statistics that if I was to be reading this speech earlier, I wouldn't have had hindsight of. 252 innovative ideas have been received, with so many breakdowns given to us by Toba. The initiative's primary objective is embedded the culture of creativity and innovation in this by empowering officers to take ownership of creative ideas to solve the challenges within their agencies. Clearly, we've seen that some of these initiatives and ideas have MDA effect, departmental effect. Some have more and wider ramifications, and some are even statewide, have statewide ramifications. So I do give kudos to those who have come up with all of these ideas. The initiatives have been established in 102 ministries, departments, MDAs, including hospitals, school districts, local governments, and LCDA areas. Going forward, the Ideas Day will further improve the benefits of information technology and buttress a process where energetic and talented public servants practice critical thinking to profile solutions to the enormous challenges faced by their MDAs, thereby offering innovative ideas, solutions geared towards improvement in line with global best practices at the very least cost. The Ideas Day is a new and maiden initiative that will stimulate growth, the growth mindset, and break bureaucratic tendencies and norms associated oftentimes with the public service. It creates a platform for officers to speak out rather than be relegated to the background through participation in ideas generation in their respective MDAs. I think this just gives credence to the saying by the late sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, that is displayed on the board. For those at the back that can't see it, I will read what the late sage said. It is only when the minds of men have been properly and rigorously cultivated and garnished that they can be safely entrusted with public affairs with certainty and assuredness that they will make the best of their unique opportunity and assignment. Permit me also to call on all public servants statewide to avail themselves the opportunity provided by this platform to make creative inputs and ideas towards addressing and providing viable solutions to the myriad of challenges confronting the public service of Lagos State today and in the future. In light of all of this, as you will all be witnesses to the amazing ideas from the MDAs that have been shortlisted and awarded today, all public servants should rise up to the challenge, continue to think without the box, think without if you're in a barrier, and come up with more creative and innovative ideas that will transform our dear state to the smart city that we envisage, and an enviable one that will set the pace for others to follow. I hereby commend the hard work, efforts of the staff and members of the Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation in embedding the culture of creativity, innovation in the public service, which will further demonstrate the determination and commitment of the administration in recognizing officers that add value to the state. Permit me to conclude my address by giving our collective appreciation to the Governor of Lagos, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, for creating an enabling environment that enables us as public servants to thrive, work safely and happily. I wish you all fruitful and great celebrations. Thank you very much.
We can still do better while the guy is taking his walk back to his seat. Thank you so very much, our head of service. Thank you. Thank you. Distinguished eminent guests, what is left for me to do is to request the pleasure and the honor of Dr. Olawoyin Imoisili of the Lagos State Ministry of Health to please give us a representation or remarks as it affects the senior advocates on growth mindset. Please join me to welcome Dr. Olawoyin Imoisili, please.
The Secretary to the State Government, Mrs. Folashade Jaji. The Secretary to the State Government, Mrs. Folashade Jaji, ably represented by the Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Office, Mrs. Tolani Oshodi. The Head of Service, Mr. Akim Mori-Okwala, kindly permit me to establish protocols. It gives me great pleasure to deliver this address at the maiden edition of the Lagos State Public Service Day on behalf of the senior advocates on growth mindsets. Judge Bernard Shaw once stated that progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. Also, it is widely stated that creativity is thinking up new things, while innovation is doing new things. In a bid to ensure that the state public service does not solve problems with the same thinking used, that the state public service does not solve problems with the same thinking used when the problem was created, the Creativity and Innovation team, through its Office of Creativity and Innovation, took a bold step 4 years ago, and ministries, departments, and agencies in the state using stringent criteria. These public servants, myself inclusive, were trained as trainers on the Growth Mindset Development Program. At the end of the training, they were appointed as senior advocates on growth mindset, that is SAGM, and were charged with a singular mandate of stepping down the training at their respective MDAs, promoting the culture of creativity and innovation in their MDAs, as well as transforming the fixed mindset of public servants to that of growth. I am delighted to let you know that the SAGMs executed this mandate well. In realization of its great potential to further galvanize all relevant stakeholders to action, and in order to ensure that all ministries, departments, and agencies benefit from the training, the SAGMs were rostered by the Office of Transformation, Creativity, and Innovation to deliver trainings across all state MDAs. Technical assistance was provided to the SAGMs under the leadership of the hardworking and brilliant Pioneer Director, Creativity and Innovation, Mrs. Toyin Andrews Ademuyiwa, throughout. The training sessions were well attended and successful, but the Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation ensured that the SAGMs did not rest on their oars. It was time for a transformational change in the public service, and the senior advocates on growth mindsets were then tasked with the responsibility of establishing a committee on creativity and innovation within their MDAs. The SAGMs were also mandated to be the chairperson and also double as the creativity and innovation ambassador of the committee, which was saddled with the responsibility of encouraging, reviewing, and forwarding to OTCI proposals from staff on any state change processes, a responsibility that the SAGMs also executed brilliantly. Furthermore, in order to foster creativity and innovation, the SAGMs were invited by OTCI to participate as interviewers during various screening and selection of ambassadors on creativity and innovation by the Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation to select creativity and innovation ambassadors in the state. Following the interview sessions, the creativity and innovation ambassadors were selected based on performance, and they were charged with the responsibility of being change ambassadors within their MDAs, and the rest is history. Undoubtedly, without the approval of the state government, without the quest for excellence in the state public service, without the diligence of the DG OTCI, without the diligence of the Pioneer Director, Creativity and Innovation, and without the diligence of the staff of the Office of Creativity and Innovation, without the effort of the SAGMs and Creativity Ambassadors, today's maiden event of the State Public Service Ideas Day would not have been possible. It is in this regard that I congratulate the Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation, particularly the Pioneer Director, Creativity and Innovation, for this whole achievement. The senior advocates on growth mindset are extremely glad to have been part of this journey and instrumental in changing the erstwhile fixed mindset of public servants to that of growth. We are indeed grateful to the current administration under the leadership of Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for creating the enabling environment for ideas that can transform not only the state public service, but the state as a whole to thrive. Finally, I would like to conclude with a famous quote by Jocelyn K. Blair. To make great ideas a reality, we must act, experiment, fail, adapt, and learn on a daily basis. Lagos State, on account of its strategic importance to Nigeria, being the commercial and industrial nerve center of Nigeria and the West African sub-region, cannot afford to try to attain in the team's agenda. Thank you very much for listening.
Well, thank you very sincerely, Dr. Olawoye Imoisile. Thank you. Well, the head of service, distinguished guest, eminent guest, the vision has been impactful, and the success story is what we are seeing today. We are going to have a presentation of these ideas by their presenters respectively. Let's please sit back as we watch. Thank you.
Senior Agricultural Officer, Grade Level 10, Ministry of Agriculture. Introducing Aluba Olade Olaruwaju, Senior Agricultural Officer, Grade Level 10, Ministry of Agriculture.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Standing on the already established protocol, I'm here to make a presentation on the digitalization of Lagos State Agricultural Input Supply Authority, LAISA. Now, according to World Bank, the African food market is going to increase and grow to about $1 trillion by 2030. In Nigeria, it has been discovered that with the fluctuation in the price of crude oil, experts are saying that agriculture is the solution to the problem of IGR need of the nation. And the deployment of a tech-enabled platform is actually the shift in paradigm that is required for this transformation. Hence, the digitalization of the Lagos State Agri-Input Supply Authority for revenue increase. Now, the business of LAISA is to buy and sell inputs and make sufficient profit. But the agency has not been able to optimize this potential due to three major challenges of inefficient input sourcing and procurement, inefficient inventory management, as well as suboptimal marketing strategy. Now, let us observe this in this the implication of this in this next slide. The cost, for example, in the case of fish feed, the customer requirement is about 110,000 bags, but the agency is only able to do like 600 bags, which translates to 9.1 million, when in actual fact, just targeting 50% of this requirement will be doing about 825 million in terms of sales turnover. Another example is that of rice, which is the staple food of Lagosians. The need out there is about 180,000 bags, but the agency was only able to do like 922,000 in volume, when in actual fact, we should be targeting 2.2 billion, not billion, billion in terms of sales turnover. So all things being equal, the agency is sitting on a potential market of about 4 billion on a monthly basis. But compare that to the 20.5 million that we are doing currently, which is just about less than 1% of 50% that we should be targeting. And I believe that deployment of the digital asset will be able to help us to derive the necessary mileage in terms of revenue for the state. Can anybody beat this guy? And the solution is LAISA Marketing Evolution, which is the deployment of a scalable digital solution to integrate the input sourcing in order to ensure that inefficiency in terms of procurement, inefficiency in terms of patronizing middlemen for input requirement is taken care of by automating the process and ensuring that there is constancy in supply of inputs. Also, it's the integration of the inventory management system. I want to establish here that the agency has 7 service centers, which is just like a drop point for inventory management. So automating it will be able to achieve a reorder level and ensure that we'll be able to satisfy the yearnings of Lagosians. Also, the consumers, by this technology, which is like an ERP solution, it will enable us to be able to roll out mobile application and online and USSD for offline transaction for our farmers, so that at the comfort of their home, at the comfort of their farm, they can place order for their farm inputs and get whatever they want. Now, let me just take us through to the workflow of the system. It starts with supplier. The system will aggregate suppliers and ensure that all their products is embedded and uploaded into the system right from their offices. Now, the inventory manager receive an email that a transaction is in process, and there will be a two-factor authentication process. There will be a two-factor authentication process to ensure that there's confirmation of what the supplier is bringing in, as well as to ensure that customers have access to this thing. So also the customer, that portal will capture the consumer credentials, and the actual sales can come in here, delivery and the other fulfillment, and at the end of a successful transaction, you have a receipt. So what is the objective of the solution? The objective is to develop a sustainable digital strategy for improving the selling, the sourcing, managing, and the selling of farm inputs at subsidized rates to farmers in order to improve the state's IGR, to ensure efficiency of the system and ensure food security, as well as to target the fourth pillar agenda of Mr. Governor. And what's the proposed solution? As by way of impact, we begin to see an increase in revenue for about 2.4 billion per annum, a job creation of about 500 direct and indirect jobs, and as well, which translates to food security. This process is just about 17.2. We get this thing done, and it is sealed. I believe that
Hello. Can we please give another round of applause to Mr. Anderson? And then we want to thank you so very much on the digitalization of rice. Next, please. Dr. Miriam,
Grade level 13, Senior Medical Officer, Ministry of Health. Introducing Dr. Miriam, Scholar, Grade level 13, Senior Medical Officer, Ministry of Health.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Introducing Dr.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I stand on all already established protocol. To complete the cycle of life, death is inevitable, but it is very, very painful to see people dying because of lack of funds, especially those that are less than 500,000 naira to the least of 10,000 naira. But Lagos State government has made provision for this, but the bottleneck is worrisome. So this brings me to a true life story that I'm going to be sharing with you this morning about someone named Hesai. He's a 30-year-old man whom had lost one of his sight, and he has just one eye to salvage. So he needed a sum of 10,000 naira to have an urgent ocular scan done to salvage his holding eye. This man, with the help of family and friends, he has had 2 previous surgeries done, and he does not have that fund, so he ran to the government for help. Imagine this man having to wait for several months before he could get this money, and sometimes they don't even get this money. In his case, it can lead to total blindness, and from there it will be a burden to his family and friends, and not just that, even to the society. This brings me to the problems observed. It's been observed that there is a long processing and delays of medical financial assistance, especially the ones of emergency cases worth 500,000 naira and below. And this has been known to lead to detrimental situations such as worsening of the health condition, and sometimes it leads to death. And fact still remains that there are emergency cases that they are not expensive to treat, but they are life-threatening. Someone that has an acute kidney injury, for example, that needs a short of dialysis so that the person will not be prone to having a kidney damage, or someone that has a retinal detachment that can cause the person to have a total blindness. I must commend this present administration on their efforts on health promotion, disease prevention, and intervention. And this table is actually showing the approval threshold of the percentage of this application that has been approved by Mr. Governor, the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. And we've been able to bring out the ones that are of emergency cases, the percentage. The graph that you are seeing next is going to show in the past 3 years, in 2019, between 2019 to 2021, that there has been an increase in these medical emergencies worth less than 500,000 naira. And there's a rise in this. This is called for concern, because this can have to increase in our morbidity and mortality in Lagos State. So we need to do something about this. Currently, the bottleneck, the current process of this medical financial assistance takes about 15 steps, with approximately 4 months being the time frame to get these funds. And we need to do something about this, because this is worrisome. This is where we have the bottleneck, and this bottle needs to be splashed and have a free flow river. So how can we get this done? It's if you can reduce these steps from these 15 steps to 6 steps, and the time frame being the maximum of 2 weeks. This is possible. We can actually actualize this. How can we do this? If you can have a special grant and approval for Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Health, and or the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, by having a global pool of funds of a certain amount, let's say 60 million naira, for example, that is domiciled in the Ministry of Health through an advanced budget, and it can be managed by a certain committee. Also, this request can be made 15 million naira quarterly, and with a report of how the previous funds was being disbursed. A governance structure is going to be put in place to ensure the management and the proper replenishment of these funds, and the use of information technology is going to be helpful to make this strategy work. So the objective of this solution is that it's going to help to reduce the processing timeline, improve the response rate of the Lagos State government, and also enhance the government's reputation, and to aid the vision of Mr. Governor on the second pillar of the team's agenda, which is health and environment. So the impact this is going to bring is that it's going to help to reduce the bulk of files and memos with Mr. Governor and the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. It's also going to help to change the negative perception of the community, because they feel the government is not doing enough, and the government is doing so much on health. At the same time, it's going to reduce the complications that arise to a death rate, and reduce delays in approvals of medical financial requests through prompt health intervention of this medical emergency. As we are helping the people, we should also ensure that they are being signed up with the Lagos State Health Scheme. So it's going to increase the number of people that are going to be registering with the Lagos State Health Management Agency. I hereby plead that this my request, this solution be acceded, because this is going to help to reduce incapacitation and even death rates in the preventable deaths in the community. Let's remember that health is wealth. Thank you.
The next presentation, please.
Introducer, Pastor Akiyemi, Program Analyst, Radio Tech, and General Officer.
Good morning. All protocol duly observed. There is a looming danger threatening the future of government hospitals. A reputational risk caused by a racketeering of medical certificates. Most stakeholders now suspect every medical certificate from general hospitals as fake, with difficulty of authenticating them. The problems observed here is most government hospitals has been plagued with issuance of fake medical certificates, which has led to defamation of Lagos State government reputation, loss of internally generated revenue, and tedious process of authenticating the medical certificate. On the graph showing here, this is the rate of fake medical certificate reported at Alimosha General Hospital between the month of July 2021 to December 2021. July 2021, it was 15%. Let's go back, please. By December 2021, it was 41%. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Here on the screen, this is a non-digitized medical certificate very close to me. And the other one there is a fake medical certificate trying to mirror this non-digitized medical certificate. This non-digitized medical certificate is the one issued by Alimosha General Hospital before the implementation of this solution. And it cut across to all other general hospitals, which is the same medical certificate being issued by the general hospitals in Lagos State. Next slide, please. Proposed solution is digitalization and e-verification of medical certificates, such as fitness, medical reports, police assault reports, and death certificates. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, can we please bring out our smartphones and scan this code for 30 seconds, please? How many of us are able to scan this code successfully? Thank you. By scanning, ladies and gentlemen, I will introduce to you the digitized medical certificates issued by Alimosho General Hospital since December 2021 till date. This certificate comes with this QR code, which can be scanned anywhere in the world. Anywhere you will confirm the authenticity of this medical certificate. By doing so, it will redirect you back to the back end of Alimosho General Hospital website, which will show the original scanned medical certificate. Next slide, please. This is the post-implementation graph after the implementation of this medical certificate. As you can see on the graph, this data speak. By January 2015, 50% of fake medical certificates were reported at Alimosho General Hospital, which were detected at a glance. We don't even need to go anywhere to confirm it, because there was no QR code on the medical certificate. Next slide, please. Objective of the solution is to curtail the issuance of fake medical certificates in line with the second pillar of the government team's agenda, which is health and environment, and reduce revenue leakages while increasing IGR. Impact of this solution: protecting the integrity of Lagos State government, easy data analytics, and in the world. Lastly, is increased internally generated revenue, IGR. This is the financial impact data from the December 2021 till date at Alimosho General Hospital. Within the first 3 months of implementation of this solution, an 80% increase in revenue of medical certificates at Alimosho General Hospital. If this solution can be replicated in the other 27 general hospitals, it will increase the contribution to the health sector IGR by 27% on the average per month. These are data references. Thank you for listening. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, àjùmọ̀ṣe wa ni.
Introducing the award-winning medical laboratory scientist, Grade 12, Lagos State Accident and Emergency.
I stand on the already established protocol. I'm here this morning to provide a solution to a very dastard problem which has been happening amongst trauma patients in Lagos State. Next slide. You will agree with me that innovation in healthcare delivery is the hallmark of the 21st century healthcare economy around the world. Saving lives and preserving health is the focus of the Lagos State government team's agenda. Pre-hospital blood transfusion is able and will definitely save more lives. Next slide. This is the problem. Hemorrhage, which is blood loss, is the second leading cause of death among trauma patients. Provision of pre-hospital based resuscitation can be life-saving. Imagine a situation where one is traveling on the road, had an accident, and before he gets to the hospital, this person had bled to death. That is what we are trying to correct here. There is a high number of preventable deaths from hemorrhagic shock due to trauma in Lagos State. I present to you data from LASEC Hospital for the year 2019 and 2020. In the year 2019, we were able to record a total number of 44 deaths. Of these 44 deaths, 26 of them died as a result of hemorrhage, blood loss as a result of accidents. In 2020, we have a total of 53, where 32 of them died as a result of hemorrhage, and just 18 and 21 respectively died of other type of injuries. Now, that gives us a percentage increase of about 7%. What I'm trying to say here is that if you look at this graph, even before this patient gets to the hospital, some of them had lost considerable amount of blood that they died within 6 hours of presenting at the hospital. I want to tell you that we do not need to waste this life. This life can actually be salvaged if we have a pre-hospital based resuscitation template in place. Next slide. That is why I present this solution to you. And the solution is to have installed on our ambulances, which is already available, an installation of solar-powered mobile blood bank in ambulances for pre-hospital transfusion. What impact will this have? This innovative solution is to reduce the number of deaths as a result of hemorrhage, blood loss. Next. What do we need to put this in place? Very simple. We don't have to spend much. Yet, a single life saved is worth saving. We need an ambulance, which the Lagos State government has in place already. And inside this ambulance, we need a solar-powered mini blood bank to preserve blood. And now, this is a summary of the process or description of what we need. We need the right personnel inside the ambulance. The Lagos State government is at the top of its game by having nurses, but we also need a medical laboratory sciences and probably a paramedic or a doctor on board to actually go on with this. Now, also availability of equipment and reagents. The most important equipment, as I've mentioned earlier, is the mini blood bank, solar powered, and availability of blood inside the ambulance. Blood availability. As we all know, blood, there is no alternative to blood. If it is blood that is being required, it is blood that had to be given. No drug. Now, we can source for blood transfusion service, which is already in place. Also, this can be outsourced through PPE, public-private partnership. Impact one, it will significantly reduce, mark that word, significant trauma victims. Also, it supports the second pillar of the government team's agenda number 2, health and environment. It creates employment opportunities and also increased revenue generation for the government. Please, no amount of money is too much to save a single life. That life can be your life. That life can be my life or the life of. Don't lose unnecessary lives on the road. Summary and conclusion. By implementing this, we can have a state where deaths due to loss of blood is reduced to the barest minimum. Thank you very much.
Fisheries Officer 1, Grade Level 9, Ministry of Agriculture.
Good morning. Public aquaria is regaining popularity all over the world. This transition is now a huge source of revenue for government and investors globally. On this note, I'm here to present an idea on promoting investment in public aquaria and harm of ornamental fishery. What problem informed this idea? Is the zero investment in public aquaria in Lagos State, which has caused untapped source of revenue for the state government, has also caused under-tapped ornamental value chain and also an untapped agrotourism potential. Imagine if all these are in place, Lagos stand a lot to gain in this dispensation. Let's look at a fact and figure in investing in public aquaria across the countries. In Dubai, with 80 million viewers, they generate 900 billion naira annually. Can you imagine that? Singapore and Florida, they are also doing great. In our home African brother, Cape Town in South Africa, with 500,000 viewers, they produce 3.15 billion naira has been generated annually. My own dear state, Lagos, has zero investment in this area and generate 0 naira annually. My projection for my dear state is at least with 1 million viewers at the rate of 1,000 naira chicken money, we generate 10 billion naira annually. Come on, look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Singapore, this is the typical aquaria in Singapore, Dubai, South Africa, also in Florida. My model have for recreation parks and MDAs. For recreation parks, at least 1 mega size is each ibile with public-private partnership funding under the supervision of Ministry of Agriculture in collaboration with other ministries in Lagos. The idea will come from income profit sharing and other indirect levies and taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, this can also be installed at the Eco-Atlantic project for view for better Lagos. Also at MDAs, we have an idea that has already been implemented at the Ministry of Agriculture. We will see that as we proceed. It's with 100% state funding under the supervisivity. Next slide, please. Oh, come on, look at this. This is a prototype. This is a prototype of a mega-sized aquarium that can be installed at the recreation parks or any other high-trafficking public places. And this is a vacant space at shopping mall. Let us look at the transformation when it is installed. This is how it will look after the aquarium has been installed, also at his lobby. Isn't this beautiful? Next slide, please. This is also the prototype that has been implemented at the Ministry of Agriculture. And this is our small Dubai. You can come around to take selfie at the Ministry of Agriculture. And that can also be replicated in other MDAs too. The objective of my solution is to enhance revenue generation potential through the development of agrotourism in Lagos State. The impact of my solution will increase IDL by at least 10 billion naira through PPP. And it also supports Mr. Governor's team's agenda, making Lagos State a 21st century economy. It will promote agrotourism development, which is the 5th pillar in Mr. Governor's team agenda. It will create more jobs and businesses. It will improve health and wellness. Recently, there has been discovery that real aquarium, it reduces blood pressure and stabilizes the heartbeat of people. And it will beautify Lagos State and make Lagos State a center of aquatic splendor. Thank you. bó ṣe wà.
Chief Accountant, Grade Level 15, Ministry of Finance. He submitted a proposal in July 2021 to the Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation on increasing Lagos State's IGR using technology. After a series of engagements, investigations, and dissections by different stakeholders, the proposal was approved for presentation. For his impressive performance at the scheduled presentation, the Commissioner for Finance, Dr. Rabi Ogugu, requested for his secondment to the Ministry of Finance for national projects. Currently leads the team on the project for Lagos State to close the tax net by increasing the IGR using technology.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I stand on exiting protocol. We all know that there is no finance without administration. To say Lagos State is losing billions of naira due to leakages is an understatement. I'm talking from the experience having worked at local governments and now working in states. So I'm here to propose a solution. And what is the solution? Harmonizing increase of IGR through digitalization using QR code. What do I mean by that? For example, it is in 2 stages. Increasing through harmonization using QR code as a technology. What is QR code? It simply means quick response. Why did I opt for it? It's good for tracing, for tracking, for monitoring. And it's an anti-forgery app, meaning that it will expose and escalate. All those are benefiting from the act, and it's a plus to the state government. What did I say before I preferred the solution? I haven't spent about 15 years in revenue. I found that there is non-harmonization of revenue by the MDAs. It's very low. And what would that give us? That would give us multiplicity of taxes, revenue leakages, which is very, very sad. If these billions had been channeled towards financing these beautiful proposals or doing some of the things we want, it will be better. I noticed equally that we need an app in revenue to monitor, to track. That's why I opted for QR code. And I noticed that we can do, I noticed that there's untapped potential of the informal sector, chief among which is this. We can achieve more, we can do better. Next slide, please. Anywhere you see this sign, if you scan this QR code, it will give you an irrelevant information. What our solution will do, it will give you detailed information. It will give you whether the person has paid the appropriate amount, whether he has paid tax, whether he has harmonized with other revenue aids like land use charge, radio and TV, etc. This, I'm really bothered when I say this, because if our solution had been adopted, what had happened in Ikoyi would not have happened, where civil servants were saying 21 story, 18 story. It was an embarrassment. What would we have done differently? For example, it will have been stated there, if the material testing has been done, if it has passed, if it has failed, it will escalate, it will show. There's not an interministerial monitoring. For example, if I'm involved, if Ministry of Finance is involved in collecting money, I will equally be interested in the progress of this report. If other tests were done, it will do. But the solution, the strategy for this is safety of lives and properties. That's why we put it before money. That's why we need to harmonize. What is the solution? Harmonize increase in IGR through digitalization called QR code. Next slide. This is the example of revenue leakage. If you scan, for example, with this advert, you can pay for one and do 100. For example, this woman has paid for one, she has over 20 shops. DHL, it's the same thing. We are losing money here, a lot of money, and it can be reversed by easily putting a QR code here. You scan it, you georeference it. It positions the person's shop in a place, so you can't use it in another place. And definitely, since other MPAs are involved in harmonization, when I know I'm going to gain, I will call it, especially local government, we'll look at it and we will gain. Go back, please. Go back, please. As you can see, the 2 plate numbers here are covered. What does that mean? What we have now in Lagos State is digital camera captured invading vehicles. With this, you can capture nothing. But with our solution, QR code put on the windscreen, you can see these cars in the corridor where I come from, a lot of it. So, but you may not see it in Magodo, Ikoyi here. So, you go do a gap, please. So where I'm going is that if assuming a QR code was put on the windshield of that car, this will not be a problem. It will simply have scanned it, giving relevant information, and we are good to go. And for example, if it were to be a stolen car, without a plate number, we just capture it. The VVIP covering their plate numbers now, this will beat it. This equally goes to this. I expected LASA, for example, to have merged the Ministry of Transport. What does that mean? As the car got in, or as the bus got in, roadworthiness test. If it hasn't gotten, go and get it. That is harmonization. That will increase the IGL. I equally expect buses like that to equally match with Ministry of Environment. What would that do? If you have a smoking car that is not good for the environment, then the car should not be allowed to be on the road. Then people are encouraged to put good cars on the road. What is the objective? It is simple. Improve revenue in billions, not in millions. By what? We are not introducing any new tax. We are just widening the tax net through creativity and smart ideas using technology. That's your objective, and that's what we drive around. This is the amount Lagos State has been making in the last 5 years. What we noticed in the Ministry of Finance is that there has been a 13 to 15% increase in IGR, IS15, IS so far. What the solution would do, if it's allowed, if it's accepted, is that it will increase the IGR of Lagos State by at least 30%. We'll go 50%. And so we're looking at about 706 billion naira. We can reach a trillion naira mark if it is effectively implemented. Next slide. This is an example of mapping. Why did I choose this? I have an experience in revenue. People have multiplicity of taxes. You don't know which MD is coming. But with our mapping, what does that mean? If I want to invest like hotel or private school, which hotels do encourage tourism, this is part of the pillar of agenda of Mr. Governor. These are the items that I'll pay for. This is the amount I'll pay for. These are only the MDs that will come to me. What will that give us? That will give us ease of doing business. People happy. I know the ministry is coming to me. I know the amount I'm paying. That will erase automatically multiplicity of taxes. There will be no revenue leakage at all. Because by the time I get a glass, I can even pay for my phone. I buy in Mason or do in Mason. And that's how it's done in developed countries. And what will stop us? Feel free to scan this QR code. This is an example of what I'm doing. By the time you pay, and for example, if it were to pay private school or an hotel, just like I said, it will put, because there's harmonization, the QR code will put on the advert board of the hotel or of the school. And an auditor and investigator can just go scan without even engaging the owner of the school. So the QR code gives you a total of what you've paid, gives you transparency, gives you accountability. What is the impact? The impact is simple. Widening of the tax nets, elimination of revenue leakages. We expect a QR code to be on security document and essential documents, like survey plan, like C of O, like receipts, vehicle license, for example. We expect an introduction of an app that is good for tracking, that is good for tracing, that is good for monitoring. It gives transparency, it removes revenue leakage. We expect all MDAs to fully collaborate and harmonize, which I've noticed that is not the order of the day. What does this gap give us? If everybody have ever noticed this vehicle license in my hand, they put 500 naira here for radio permits. It's for local governments, but MVA has partnered with local governments to collect revenue just for cars alone. They've not collected on buses, they've not collected on trucks. And I tell you, at the end of the year, technology won. All the 57 LG and LCD, they could not meet just this 500 naira. And let me tell you, in local government, you collect as much as 1,500,000 naira for radio and television. There is no standard, there is no measurement. It depends on the local government you have. So what I'm trying to tell you is that harmonization and technology has always worked. We need to harmonize, we need to practice it together. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. The next slide shows the picture of Lagos State, that the vastness of Lagos State. That if we refuse to harmonize, if we still to digitalize, we will always continue to lose billions. The time to harmonize is now. The time to digitalize is now. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, head of service and courtesies duly extended. It is for us to have a summary of all of this presentation, and we will please want to welcome the Director Otci to come to the stage in this regard with this profiling of personnel.
Is not about a title or a destination. It is more about impact, influence, and inspiration. While impact involves certain results, influence on its part is more about feeling the passion you have for your work. This audio quote of Robert Shaw rightly captures the phenomenal narrative depicting the character and nature and personality of Tony Andrews Adeniwa. With substantive years of knowledge and wealth of experience, cutting across the understanding of the dynamics of engagement in the public service, the private sector, and the corporate world, Tony Andrews Adeniwa distinctively stands out as a meritorious champion of excellence in quality service delivery and a solution strategist in creativity, innovation, transformation, professionalism, and ethical conduct and best practices in public service policy initiatives and implementation. Before joining the services of the Labour Government, Tony Andrews Adeniwa worked and rose through ranks to attain management and executive positions in the United States of America as a communication expert, human resource manager, and excellent service provider in leading global brands, spanning productive and service industries knowledge in public services. As the pioneer head, creativity and innovation, and Labour State Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation, she has dedicated herself to the offering and delivering the very best to the Labour State government through focused, in-depth, innovative thinking that share positive outcomes and state services in accordance with global best practices. Her specialized skills and expertise include budget administration and reporting, program assessment and change, revenue building and group attainment, and service and administration, regulatory compliance, development, and training programs. Her outstanding and unique qualities primarily covers financial banking and executive oversight experience. Talent for building multifunctional teams, good setting and setting skills, strong communication skills, and ability to build consensus. Achievements in the state public service are the greatest of all nature. Having challenge is fantastic. Having confidence is even more important. This is the quality that we are standing with the mentor and engaging with confidence in all together. Fascinating you and self-leader testament of truly Andrews Adeniwa's achievement between million years. I wrote in digital works of government on the art of technology and consumer, and seeing Zero as a facilitator and panelist.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to stand on existing protocols. And I swear to God, DG, I did not do that. There's a whole lot of surprises going on in this room that I'm finding out about. Prices down. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good afternoon, the head of service, Mr. Hakeem Muriokmola, to the executive council members in the room, to the body of permanent secretary, to my amazing, amazing chairman of all chairmen, Mrs. Fabanwo, the chairman of Civil Service Commission, is in the room. To the best of the best commissioner, Minister of Economic Planning and Budget, Mr. Egugbe, thank you for your support. To the permanent secretary, Public Service Office, to the representative of the SSG, Mrs. Tolani Oshodi. I'm here to talk about transformational leaders. There are 4 factors to transformational leaders, known as the 4 I's. They're either idealized, influence, inspirational, motivational, intellectual, stimulation, and individual consideration. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to present the transformational leaders to you, and you will be proud and overly joyed that these are the leaders, some of the leaders that we have in the Lagos State Public Service.
He obtained a Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery degree at the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan. He is a surgeons. He was appointed medical director at the Lagos Island Maternity Hospital in 2019, a position he occupies till date. He has also obtained leadership trainings and certifications from the University of Washington and the Lagos Business School. He is vastly experienced in general gynecology and obstetrics, with special interest in gynecological endoscopy and medical education. He is skilled in leadership, customer service, strategic planning, and is an enthusiastic human professional development leader. Dr. Femi Omolu, who is the MD CEO Island Maternity, has carried out landmark innovations and transformations at the hospital, from the management and development of staff in leadership skills, infrastructural transformation, staff development and motivation, client engagement, service delivery, and community engagement. He leveraged on corporate social responsibilities for some of the infrastructural transformation of the hospital, including acquiring more equipment for improved service delivery. As part of a strategic plan to continue to build capacity of the staff, he established monthly hospital fees to ensure staff are in constant performance improvement mode, such as responsiveness, personal development, innovation and problem solving, establishing the right culture, patient-centered care, ownership and maintenance, just to mention a few. Talk about staff having the right life-work balance. The icing on the cake was the creation of Stress Relief for Staff, a platform where work meets play to create relief. In his leisure, Dr. Omolu is a writer, a music connoisseur, and a sports enthusiast. He has blogs on general issues in sports. He is married with 3 children. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Omolu.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have Dr. Olufemi Omolu to please come on stage? We would like the honor of the head of service, Mr. Hakeem Uriokunla and Mr. Toba Otusonya, along with the chairman, Health Service Commission, and Commissioner 4 from Health Service Commission, to please present the award to Dr. Omolu.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure and an honor to present to a friend, a brother, and a colleague on behalf of the Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation. With our greatest appreciation, we present to you Dr. Femi Omolu, MD CEO, Island Maternity,
and graduated in 1994 with a degree. His housemanship training was at the military hospital Yaba, where he developed interest in accident and emergency care and trauma surgery. His National Youth Service Corps program took him to Aloma Specialist Hospital, Umuahia, in Abia State in 1995 till he returned to Lagos in 1996. In 1998, he was employed by the Lagos State Hospitals Management Board and served in General Hospital, Odo, in the Accident and Emergency Department and the Department of Surgery. In 2003, he obtained a postgraduate diploma degree in Health, Safety and Environmental Management from Medela Consult, Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Youth. He was posted to Randall General Hospital, Surulere in 2005, where alongside the Chief Medical Officer, he started the medical ward for patients' admission. He returned to General Hospital Lagos in 2006 to continue residency training in pathology. Between 2008 and 2016, he deputized for the Director of Pathology Services for Lagos State Hospitals. In May 2016, he was appointed the Medical Director of Apapa General Hospital. Here, he recorded several successes, which include branding of the pediatric ward by Nigerian Bank, GTB, with the provision of solar power source, successful installation of an industrial borehole at the hospital through the support of Lagos State government, and a massive hospital renovation. In July 2017, he was redeployed from Apapa General Hospital to Alimosho General Hospital, Igodo, as the Medical Director, Chief Executive Officer. Under his watch, Alimosho expanded in quality healthcare delivery, number of services and service points, and in infrastructure. Here are some of the creative and innovative feats achieved by Dr. Adebayo using his corporate social responsibility drive. The construction of a 140-bedded MCC center on 16 plots of land that have been carried since 2006, donated by the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals to complement the first MCC built by the Lagos State government in 2013. Phlebotomy Center built from scratch. 2020 ultra-modern staff canteen. Eko University, doctor's quarters, 50-bed accident and emergency, commissioning of the first sexual assault referral center. The hospital secured a service chartered status in April 2018 from the Lagos State government. Alimosho Hospital scored highest in safe care assessment done in 2017 and 2020 amongst all public and private hospitals in Lagos State and Nigeria. On August 5, 2021, he was redeployed to Randall General Hospital as the MDCA to continue the implementation of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's claims agenda. In furtherance of his corporate social responsibility drive, powered by his creative and innovative tank, he succeeded in the renovation of storm-damaged Randall General Hospital roof, completed in December 2021. He succeeded in the procurement of ultra-modern clinical surgical ward, procurement of fetal Doppler machine at the obstetrics and gynae department, theater operating table, and wheelchairs for patients, to mention but a few. Dr. Adebayo has also bagged his master's in business administration from the Lagos State University, which has further equipped him in the leadership and management skills for profitability and quality administration. He has received numerous awards of excellence and recognition from his field of study, the Lagos State government, and other reputable organizations locally and internationally. Dr. Madewa Adebayo is currently the MD CEO of Randall General Hospital. He is happily married with children. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Madewa Adebayo.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will please call the Honorable Head of Service again, and the DG OTCI, Mr. Tobo Tusoya, the Chairman of Health Service Commission, and Commissioner for Mrs. Ogunyemi to the stage.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, again on behalf of the Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation, with greatest appreciation, we present to you Dr. Madewa Adebayo, MD CEO, Randall General Hospital, with the Transformational Leader Award for your outstanding performance and dedication to service in today's Public Service Ideas Day competition, dated this April 19th, 2022. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations, Dr. Adebayo. Last but not least,
Abiola Seriki Aye is a city with a deep-rooted aim to deliver on the promise that every child has access to quality education and has the ability to thrive in school and in life. She is guided by these four values on the path to success. Excellence is a habit, integrity in all, and results without excuses. She served as the Senior Special Assistant Education to the former Governor of Lagos State in the last administration. Subsequently, Abiola Seriki Aye was appointed as the Director General, Office of Education Quality Assurance in October 2019. Since her assumption of office, she has shown commitment to improving the quality of education in the state by constantly pioneering laudable initiatives for schools, school owners and administrators, teachers, and evaluators. Prior to this, she worked in the capacity of Senior Manager, Teacher Effectiveness with the New York City Department of Education, Talent Management with Achievement First Charter Schools, High School Teacher at Harmony Public Schools, Texas, and the Middle School Teacher through the New York City Teaching Fellows Program. She has also worked with NAPEPS, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Fort Oil, and Lagos State Ministry of Education. Honors include Golden Key International Honor Society, Harvard Women in Public Policy Program, and Education Pioneers Graduate School Fellowship Program. She is also a board member, AIFA Reading Society. She holds degrees from Pennsylvania State University, Columbia University, and Harvard University, Cambridge, to mention a few. In view of the above responsibilities, the indefatigable leadership of Mrs. Abiola Seriki Aye has continued to uphold several special programs in line with the mandate of the Office of Education Quality Assurance, which include Spelling Bee competition and One-Day Governor Celebration, which is a flagship program in the state in collaboration with the New Era Foundation. United Nations Drug-Free Day, Schools Invention Program SIP, World AIDS Day Celebration and Commemoration of the World Literacy Day. It is worthy of note to state that she is champion of all champions during adversity. Mrs. Seriki Aye contributed immensely to the successes recorded by the Lagos State government during the COVID era by keeping her staff united and focused despite the daunting health challenges. In a bid to create awareness on COVID-19 and schools reopening, Mrs. Abiola Seriki Aye initiated trainings and workshops on Lagos State schools reopening processes for public and private schools during the lockdown through the COVID-19 schools reopening course and clearance process. This was designed to help schools adapt to the new normal following the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic. These are some of our other innovative initiatives geared towards ensuring qualitative standard of education within the state during the COVID era. Read Aloud Lagos Initiative, the Lagos Learns Together LTT Learning Platform, Lexpor Literacy Assessment, Child Protection Training for teachers and leaders and board members, Safe School Initiative Workshop, a collaboration with Lagos State Safety Commission. Abiola Seriki Aye has keyed into the third pillar of the theme's agenda, which focuses on education and technology, and have been working on the path of ensuring educational excellence using technology as a significant tool of achieving learning outcomes and standards in schools below tertiary level in line with global best practices. Abiola Seriki is happily married and blessed with children. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mrs. Abiola Seriki.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, the head of service, Mr. Toba Otusoya. Please give her another round of applause.
Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to see a woman as a transformational leader. On behalf of the Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation, I present with our greatest appreciation to my baby sister, Mrs. Abiola Seriki, the Director General, Office of Quality Education Assurance, with the Transformational Leader Award for your outstanding performance and dedication in service. Today, this Public Service Ideas Day, April 19, 2022. Congratulations.
Head of service, sir. Head of service, sir. Today, I have the pleasure of keeping you on the stage a little longer. So, Mr. Topotus, I have the pleasure of directing you to stay on the stage a little longer. So, before I do anything, let me give the microphone to Mrs. Seriki for acknowledgement on behalf of her team.
Wow. I was looking at that and I couldn't believe that that was me they were talking about. I want to stand on the existent protocol. I want to acknowledge the presence of the representative of SSG, a head of service, a body of permanent secretaries, all of my government colleagues here today. Thank you so much. On the behalf of the transformational leaders that have been chosen, I want to say a very big thank you. I've met many transformational leaders in public service, and we are just a very small part of that larger group that we have. We just represent the greater good, and we're very grateful to have been chosen. I want to say that we appreciate everything that Mr. Governor has been doing, everything that the head of service has been doing through the OTCI. I must say I was very excited when I heard about the program because I said, yes, we will get it right. They say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you transform public service? One officer at a time. I want to thank you. It is an immense honor to be recognized today. God bless you all.
So, head of service, sir, I have the power today to direct you to still please stand. So, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. We have a beautiful, beautiful surprise for the head of service today. And it is my honor to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, the head of service of all head of service, the transformational leader of all transformational leaders, the most amazing, well-emotional,
which is in the first saying of our head of service. So we will not be doing justice to today's program without acknowledging the support that the Office of Head of Service has given to OTCI, because without the support of the Head of Service, we will not be having this program. I want to appreciate you, sir. Thank you, and God bless. Body, kí lẹ ṣe? Body. Come and stand with us. Chairman. Chairman, please. Once again, round of applause for the head of service. Sorry, the three transformational leaders should also join us. Transformers. Say cheese. Thank you.
All right. One more surprise. One more surprise. One more surprise, and then we will hear the winners of the competition. So, Mr. Thomas Otci, our head of service, ladies and gentlemen of the press, can you allow the PSs to go back to their seats, please? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, as amazing as this event is, and yes, you know, if we didn't have the support of the head of service, we wouldn't be here. But I can say to you, OTCI family will not be OTCI transforming the Lagos State Public Service without the amazing, incomparable, down-to-earth, intelligent, exciting, emotionally balanced, non-judgmental, unapologetically smart. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes the surprise.
Described as a wise achiever and a fine, complete gentleman of reckoning with sound professional ethics and expertise, integrity, credibility, and honor. Toba Otci is the next He is a convinced management consultant, public sector reforms expert. He has MBA Hines and Business and Human Resources Management from the University of Sussex, United Kingdom, a postgraduate diploma in procurement management from London Metropolitan University, United Kingdom, and Masters of Diplomacy and Scientific Studies MDSS from the University of Lagos. Toba Otci is a member of the Chartered Institute of Purchasing and Supply, MCIPS, United Kingdom, and also a member of the Chartered Institute of Personal Management, MCIPM, Nigeria. He has over 25 years of experience in various fields, including project management, procurement, management consulting, human resource management, change management, and public sector reforms. He is the capacity as Director General, OTCI. He has chaired several technical committees on behalf of the state government. These include Technical Committee on Spirit and Lagos, Technical Committee on on HR implementation in public service, Technical Committee on Public Service Reforms, Technical Committee on Ease of Doing Business, and Technical Committee on Project Talent. Mr. Toba Otusoya is passionate about HR best practice, introduction and implementation of professional linguistic public service. He is an alumnus of Harvard Kennedy School of Government and Massachusetts Institute of Technology MIT, a recipient of the CIPN HR Best Practice Award 2017 and 2019, and the Presidential on Ease of Doing Business 2018 and 2019. Next time is second guest, Christian.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me give a warm welcome to the stage, along with Mrs. Bumi Fabango, onto the stage, because these are our partners. The transformational leaders, the four transformational leaders, is Mr. Toba Otusoya. We will not be here or successful without his directives.
I think Toba is. And then, according to distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to present on behalf of your transformation, creativity, and innovation, with our greatest appreciation to you, we present to Toba an outstanding performance and dedication to service. A grateful public service appreciates all the efforts you have made in this regard, Toba, and encourage you to continue the good work. Congratulations.
Well, I'm going to call on two ambassadors. Opeyemi Adeyemi, Ambassador of Creative Innovation from the Health Service Commission, and Bimbo Shubowale from the Agriculture Ministry, respectively, to make their quick remarks.
My name is Opeyemi Adeyemi, and with me here is Bimbo Shobawale. We are delighted to be here today to speak on behalf of the ambassadors. Ambassadors of the House, can you wave your hands and give yourself a round of applause? You're the reason why we're here today. You know that, right? Thank you. Before I go further, obviously, I would like to recognize the incredible leadership of the super performing DG of OTCI. Please jam your hands together again for Mr. Toba Otusoya. We're personality and we say, well done, sir. We see you. We do not take this lightly that you have called us here today to come and speak on behalf of our colleagues. Bimbo, please.
Yes, as ambassadors ambassadors, most of us started our OTCI journey in 2018 through a rigorous screening process, which the DG has well highlighted. In all, Okoyemi and I, along with 174 others, eventually emerged with high scores as ambassadors of our various MPAs, alongside other more creative and more super talented people in various agencies. We set the ball rolling by talking through the growth mindset advocacy, encouraging colleagues to shun limiting beliefs or fixed mindset, and about mainstreaming creativity and innovation for disruptive change. But trust the naysayers. They called us dreamers. They said, "Kole work. One change system. Voice yen lumakobain." Some superiors even said,
fast forward to 2019, from 2019 to 2022, right? We can confidently say that it has been a life-changing and personality-transforming experience with OTCI. Do you agree? Thank you. This is because OTCI gave us a strong voice in our agencies. We were able to bring about innovative and creative solutions to our agency's problems. Now, let's get real. We all know that this journey was not without challenges. It was filled with criticisms, backlashes, personality clashes, unnecessary sometimes, battles with various heads. But today, we are all here, standing tall, because we've decided that we're going to use our voice to make change happen. We said to ourselves that we will not back down. Rather, we stood up, manned up, and we looked our demons in the face and said, no, not today. We went through the school of hard knocks. Oh, they taught us big lessons that we cannot forget. The journey, for some of us, as some of you can testify, was sometimes emotionally, physically draining for a lot of us. But like I said earlier, we said no, we will keep pushing forward. People.
Fellow ambassadors, champions in creativity and innovation committees all around Lagos State, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we cannot overemphasize that the Lagos State Public Service is depending on us, skills, competencies, hard work, smart work, empathy, and collaboration to actualize the themes agenda of Mr. Governor towards providing and sustaining the new momentum of change, growth, progress, and development in the social, economic, infrastructural, and environmental sectors. Today's victory, therefore, would not be possible without our worthy colleagues, the idea presenters of today, the future innovators of tomorrow, who have celebrated us with their wonderful ideas. We thank you for trusting us, for entrusting OTCI through us with your noble ideas. And we want to assure you that as a state, we will be with you till your vision is actualized.
Thank you. Going forward, before we bring this to a close, we would also like to acknowledge those top administrative managers who supported us, who gave us the wings of which we flew, who, by their power, helped us to achieve our dream to see a transformed and changed Lagos State Public Service. We say thank you, and we salute your hunger for excellence. We say a big thank you again for all those people who supported us. God bless you. Hold the message before we leave here. The DCI, that's the Director for Creativity and Innovation, said today is the day of surprises, right?
Yeah.
You remember? So there's another surprise in the box that we're going to open up right now.
Totally out of the box.
Yes, we're going to open out of the box right now. Let's just maintain some silence. Thank you. I am going to be telling you about one of the greatest encouragers we had as ambassadors. I am talking about a woman with a hunger for excellence. I am woman who is on a mission to change the course of history in public service.
Ambassadors, can you testify to that?
Please, can you testify to that? May I say that she is beautiful, she is bold, and she is brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, please, with a resounding applause, can you please join me to make welcome to the stage in person of Mrs. Oluwatoyin Anjus Ademuyiwa. Come to the stage. She will be receiving an award put together by ambassadors in Lagos State Public Service. Please come forward.
A golden fish has no hiding place. We thank you most sincerely for being a charismatic leader. So on behalf of all CIC ambassadors in Lagos State Public Service, with the permission of the Head of Service, sir, DG, OTCI, sir, and all our leaders, we want to declare Mrs. Oluwatoyin Anjus Ademuyiwa as the most charismatic leader in Lagos State Public Service. We will pray the indulgence of our excellencies to please come forward and do us the honor of presenting this, not without two beautiful women. We want to call on the HOS, sir, and the DG, sir, and not without our two dearest mothers in the house, three actually, who started this journey with us. Mrs. Olubumi Fabao, our teacher, mentor of all mentors, and Ajayi, Adedoye Ajayi, as well as Mrs. Tolani Oshodi. We see you, ma. Thank you very much. Do us the honors. Ambassador of the House, can you all stand up and let us give word of recognition to who deserves it? Don't cry, you don't want to smudge your powder, please.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, to please do this presentation for us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, HOS, for the opportunity. Seldom people who give surprises do not know Ademuyiwa. This is an award of excellence, and I present it on behalf of the Creativity and Innovation Ambassadors, the same people who you lead and mentor, and have created such a beautiful program and culture. This is presented to what is now described as a dynamic, creative, purpose-driven woman. Mrs. Oluwatoyin Anjus Ademuyiwa, you are the most charismatic leader in Lagos State Public Service. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, sirs and mas. God bless you all. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, àjùmọ̀ṣe gbogbo wa ni.
Well, the head of service, distinguished guests, these surprises should have come by way of protocol before this time. Once the head of service has been so recognized with such an award, it climaxed, and of course exits any other awards by way of protocol. And since we were not told, they said it's surprises, it came just like that, like a barrage. The head of service said, "We please beg of you and seek your permission, sir, that you please pardon us for these irregularities, sir." I need to state this very clearly, that I was told it's surprises, I'm not aware. It just banned on me as well, but please, sir, with all due respect, sir, do please forgive us. PSO, sir, please do forgive us. So just on this note, I want to call on the panel of judges, led by Dr. Mokolaji Tajudin Gaji, the PS, Minister of Environment and Water Resources, to please make the pronouncement. Sir.
Civil service and public service in the whole of the Federation, Mr. Laika Moriokola. The SSG, ably represented by my sister. This is Tolani Oshodi. The Honorable Commissioner for Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, our own son, a good man. The Chairman Civil Service Commission, Mrs. Faba, and the Chairman Health Service Commission, Dr. Well, the body of the permanent secretary, which I belong, I salute you, I greet you for staying for the long season and long time. Thank you very much. The Director General Office of Transformation and Innovation, I greet you too. Let me just rest the protocols by just doing the job that I've come here to do. Because we still have other meetings to attend now. So, the Ideas Day final score sheet is in front of me now. And we're going to start with the third position. I think there are 3 prizes. For the third position, the winner is, the third position winner is Ashoruna Adeyemi, represented on medical certificate. Ashoruna. So the second position goes to Daramola Miriam. And the winner is to present this award to the winners. I'm going to three presenters who have done very well. They brought about innovation into the system, and I believe that we should be encouraged. I believe there's a lot of work to be done, and they have done very well. We have all done very well, but the need is we have to do three people. So the three people standing here have the best presentation. So, and I'm going to call on the head of service to kindly come on stage. Also, the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, so please come up too. I think the director of Otci should come and support them. Too beautiful. The DG.
Ladies and gentlemen, going from third position to first, I have the pleasure of presenting to the third position. That's the gentleman for Alimosho General Hospital, who has given us a solution on how to deal with fake medical certificates. On behalf of Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation, I present this award to you. A round of applause, please. I present this award to you on the Ideas Day 2022 for your contribution and for actually giving us an innovative solution that will change the narrative in the Lagos State Public Service. Congratulations.
Like you know, I'm a stickler for process improvement. Anything that cuts down the number of steps that you need to take, not to talk of when it has to do with saving lives. So on behalf of the Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation, you've been declared second, and I'm excited about that. Very simple but very impactful solution. So we give you this award.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think as Honorable Justice Balaji Gaji told us, it's a competition that has recognized talents and ideas by 6 different people. But amongst the 6, there is a ranking that they've come about. We don't know the parameters. But again, I would like for the other 3 participants to please join us on stage as well. Because all of the ideas that have been put together are definitely all relevant and applicable in our public service. And I think that we have to encourage every one of us. May I also have the pleasure of inviting to join us on stage my counterpart in the Ministry of Establishment, the Commissioner, Honorable Commissioner for Establishment, Training and Pensions, Mrs. Jibola Bonle. Again, it gives me great honor and privilege to present this year's winner of the competition of the Ideas Day to the gentleman who has traversed the local government service and is currently in the mainstream civil service doing what he knows how to do best, which is innovation and transformation. I have the honor of congratulating you, Nuruddin Anibaba, for your presentation, and by God's grace, all the 6 ideas we will definitely be escalating and taking to the next level. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We would like to call the Chairman Civil Service Commission, the representative of SSG, Mrs. Tolani Ushodi, and the Permanent Secretary for Public Service Office, Mr. Ajibade, to the stage, please, to present the award to the last 3 winners. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very pleased to present this award. It is called the Appreciation Award. And indeed, I'm sure very, very well done. The HS has promised us that all these ideas will be escalated for action. Thank you very much, HS. So I present this Appreciation Award. You are the first runner-up Lagos State Public Service Ideas Day competition, April 19, 2022. Very well done. Congratulations.
Well, it has been said and confirmed, they are all full of ideas, and like the HOS said, they are going to see the impact in no distant days. If I were to declare, I would say they are all winners. So, this Appreciation Award is presented to the second runner-up, Lagos State Public Service Ideas Day competition, Mr. Alubako Ikoroduke. Congratulations.
Good afternoon. To present this award of appreciation to the third runner-up. Good afternoon.
All right, on the permission of the head of service, I have the honor to invite the PSPSO, the captain, Mr. Samson Akibale, to please give the closing remarks. Sir.
The Secretary to the State Government, ably represented by Mrs. Tolani Oshodi, our honorable head of service, Mr. Ake Okola, the Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Economic Planning and Budget, our own Ogasam Ebube, the Honorable Commissioner of Establishment and Pensions, Mrs. Hakibola Konle, and Chairman, Civil Service Commission, Mrs. Mifaba Ngo, the Chairman, Health Service Commission, Mrs. Atinoke Onoyiga. Members of the body of permanent secretaries here present. DG OTCI, Mr. Tobo Tusoya. Directors here, head of parastatals, organizations, MDs, our award winners, our presenters. I say good afternoon. Well, we have been here, we've seen. All I just have to say is that what is saying you've done well, but I just want to say, I observed, you should be proud to be part of the office of the head of service. So when you're putting in here, Office of Transportation and Innovation, or design, Office of the Head of Service. Please take note of that. It costs you, it elevates you, it enhances your image of position. So always remember to put that, but today we've seen, and there's room for others to come up with brilliant ideas. We encourage that. OTCI encourages that. They've been doing that in the past. The growth mindset has come to stay, service charter has come to stay, and the ideas there has come to stay. Telling us that you don't need to hide your ideas. Let's deviate from the old ways that, oh, no idea. No, that is not the case in Lagos State. Come forward with your ideas. We're going to embrace it. And the presence of the head of service has promised that we are going to see all this to fruition. So I want to encourage us, all accounting officers, please, let a little bit aggression, as always directed. Let people come up with innovations and creativity and ideas so we can embrace it and move the service forward. I want to congratulate ACI, Office of the Head of Service, for a job well done. Keep it up. All our guys here, thank you for the support, for giving that support to ensuring that we have this done today. Knowing fully well that we also have another important meeting today. So, all members of the body, say thank you. Everyone here present, thank you. All the MDAs, we enjoy you, we appreciate you. Ambassadors, every one of you. I pray the Almighty God will continue to be with us. The joy of restoration shall be our portion. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the day.
So it is on these historical notes. We want to thank each and every one of our distinguished eminent guests for today's auspicious occasion. All is well, they say that ends well, the head of service, we thank you. The entire team responsible for this, we say a very big thank you. Let's please rise to take the national anthem to all the part, to the glory of God and service to the Father. Rise, O compatriots, Nigerians call obey, to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in who serve without enmity. We say very big thank you one more time.